If you haven't noticed or is new to our podcast, we grown. These stories are mostly R-rated. We talk very X-rated sometimes, so please be 18 or older to listen.
These stories are also retold by us in our own lingo, so they are not word for word. They might be a little out of order, but it's the gist of the story. If you go and look at it, it might be different, but we're telling it how we tell it.
Uh-huh.
Because reading is what? Fundamental.
Hey guys, welcome back to What You Reading. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Delize. Welcome back, guys. So this week we are reading the third part of the Vicious Lost Boys series by Nikki St. Crowe. I think it's Crowe, not Croy. I think it's Crowe. It is the book titled Their Vicious Darling. So
Yes.
this is the third book. There is one more after this. From what I've understood, the fourth book is the last book. But where we left off... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, when we was just talking, we was like, it's got a whole lot of explaining to do with it.
It does. There's so much that needs to be explained, and I'm hoping it all gets explained in the fourth book because...
I know. It's the last one, as we know.
Yeah. If it's not the last one, then that's fine. But
I kind of want to read her other books now, though.
I do too. I was looking at some of the cover art. Yeah, I was looking at the cover art, and I'm like, these actually look pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
And I like her writing style. It's like quick and easy to read and all that. So I'm like, okay, I was entertained.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it'll be...
I wonder if it's like she on one of the best sellers or whatever.
I don't know. But
because this series should make it.
Yeah, this series is really good. It's like a quick and easy read, but it's like detailed enough without being too detailed. Girl, so the reason why I even came across Never King is because they were giving it to me at work because all the girls was reading it at work. So I was like, okay, let me read it. So there's this other series that all of them absolutely love, and it's called The Court of Thorn and Roses. Girl, I tried to read that book and I could not get into it. And they were like, oh, it's so good. You just got to get you got to get to like the middle of the book. These books are thick. They're quick to read, but there are some thick old books. And I was like, I got to get to the middle of the book for it to pick up. I don't know if I have the strength. I don't.
I don't know if I can carry on.
Listen, I was reading that book and remember that, what was that BTS book that we read that had an excruciating amount of detail? What was that? That we were just like, I can't finish this because it was long and it had a lot of detail.
Did we finish it though?
No, we didn't. We never even did an episode on it.
Oh, I have no idea, girl. Because quite honestly, it's been a couple that was like that.
I remember Encoded in Our DNA. Girl, a great story. I know it was.
Oh.
But the detail was like crazy. And that's how this book is. It was just like, she walked into the forest. 2 blades of grass stroked her big toe. She blinked twice. Like, I cannot do this. I cannot. She's trying to hunt down a wolf, and then she was trying to figure out how she's gonna hit it, if she's gonna throw underhand. I was just like, I cannot get past it. I was in the first chapter over it. Anyway,
was it like a romance novel?
No, it's another fantasy novel, and it's really good from what they keep saying. But I was just struggling to get through the first few chapters. But my homegirl let me use her Audible, so I'm listening to it. And I'm gonna see if it gets a little better. But reading it, I was like, nah, this is not for me.
Well, are you gonna finish it?
I'm gonna try because they keep saying how good it is, and I'm like, all right, let me try to get into it because y'all seemed like, really on board that this is a good book. But
we'll see. It might be all right. Is it a series?
It is. It's like a 4-part series. I think it's 4 parts.
It might be worth trying. You know how sometimes you just not really in the mood for a certain type of book?
True too. Maybe that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But the detail was a lot. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, if I could find the first chapter and read it to you, girl, you would be like, girl, what's the point? And I'd be like, I'm not sure. I haven't got there yet.
She said 2 strands of grass.
Girl. That's how I felt. I was just like, okay. Like, I can appreciate good detail, but I also need the detail to like have a point, and that's I felt like
Right.
I'm sure it probably got there at some point, but it just was taking so long that I was over it.
Yeah,
But
girl.
I'll text it to
Okay.
you.
Well, you go ahead and get to that middle part, then tell me, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to ruin my credit. That's on Audible if I don't have to read it.
Yeah,
Like
girl.
if it's not good, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, apparently it's a great story, and
I really like the music in our background too.
thank you. Okay, I was hoping. I was like, did you hear it? Because I was listening to
Yeah, it wasn't like too much, like it didn't overbear, but you heard it like a little. It was like a little taste.
Okay, good.
I liked it.
Glad to hear that. I don't know what's going on with the echo, but this is all I got right now.
It does sound like it's going now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I turned some
Just
stuff.
stay where you at.
Yeah, I turned some stuff down on the mixer, so I think I got the sound right this time.
Yeah.
Which I probably needed to do that because it was set something crazy. But yeah, that website that I forgot what the website's called, but it has all this royalty-free music that you can use. So that's where I got our sounds from. But anywho,
And that girl,
oh, go ahead.
I was just saying that girl on YouTube, her name's Cece Listen 3. She be having all kind of good little background music. It be like good music, like the new music they be coming out. It just be the music, not the words.
Oh, like the instrumental.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what story. So where we left off on the story was that Winnie had gone in the room because Cherry had asked her about a pigeon or something locked in the room, and when she went in there, it was a shadow, and the shadow got into Winnie. So when Cherry opened the door, actually, rewind. So when Cherry said there was a pigeon in the room and asked Winnie to go in there, knowing that it wasn't actually.
Vay told her to take her tail in that darn tomb, and she wanted to do it because she tried to be nice to Cherry. Even though I don't know why she tried to be nice to Cherry, because she knows she already had her good, and you know she gonna be salty. So why you even do it anyway? But you felt bad because you had her man.
She had her whole man, but she didn't know she was being watched. But she should have known, like subconsciously known.
You should have known.
Mm-hmm.
Once he got that good, you thought he was gonna go back to that,
girl. But you know what? Well, let's get into the story because I feel like this was a full family full of some good because girl,
that grandma,
that great I think it was her great grandma,
her great grandma had that.
Homegirl had that snatch too. Okay.
Yes, she did, honey. Because if she had the rock like that. And Hook.
And Pan, girl.
Oh, was it Pan? I didn't think Pan was like.
He was feeling her. I thought.
Was it? I didn't get that vibe from him. He kept saying she was annoying. And he left her on that land, remember?
Yeah, but
I'm telling the story.
No, but you remember too that because Tink had a whole attitude about Winnie and Pan, because Tink wanted Pan bad, but Wendy was in the way, and that's why all that went down like it did.
True, but hey, it could have been any one of them darlings, because there'd been a bunch of darlings. So
that is facts.
They really could have been any darling.
Yep, that's true. Okay, so
the whole darlings got it.
Yeah, that whole line is some blessed souls. There are some blessed souls. So yeah, that's where we left off before. So the starting of book 3 is where Cherry is in the room and Winnie is looking at her and her eyes are dark, and that's when we realize that Winnie has the death shadow, which I just remembered to mention. We were saying light shadow for the other shadow. It's actually a life shadow, which I didn't realize. It's a life and death shadow. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
so thank you.
I happened to be looking at it again and I was like, dang, we were saying that wrong. It's in our own way, hell. Like,
we probably said a lot of things wrong, okay? They know what we're talking about.
Right, it is what it is. But all right, let's get into it.
Okay, so in the beginning of this book, it cuts off, and it's kind of like the, what is it, like a
prologue.
Introduction, like? Yeah, prologue of and it cuts to when Rock is now introduced to the story. Now we already been hearing about Rock, that is Vane's brother.
Mm-hmm.
So Rock is introduced to the in the beginning of the story, and he is with the Yomoti, how you say it?
Romaldi.
Romaldi family. Now the Romaldi family is like the king and queens of like the Darkland.
Mm-hmm.
So the Darkland is where Vane and Rock is from.
Mm-hmm.
So they are with Rock because Chili with her messy self. Okay. Chili sent a letter to the Dark One telling him that there was a secret that Pan had been keeping from him and she wanted to tell it. But she wanted him to come there.
Messy.
So yeah, it's messy because the Romaldi family, he already knew that the Romaldi family was going to intercept that mail.
Mm-hmm.
And so once they found out, they was like, "Oh, this is an advantage for us because we need to get that brother."
Mm-hmm.
They trying to get their dark shadow from Vane.
Because he wasn't supposed to happen to begin with, apparently.
Right, right. So, and I wonder, and that's another backstory that we need to know how he even got the dark
That's what I
shadow.
was curious about. Like, there's okay.
Like, what kind of man was he before he got that dark shadow?
He was just like his
That's
brother.
No, but he wasn't a part of the Bone Society.
He was just like his brother. I think they said they were the exact same. I thought.
Well, then now that's a whole nother story.
I think the shadow was keeping him somewhat at bay because he still kind of acted the same outside of like, I don't know, maybe he wasn't, but he was like him in a different. I don't know, girl.
Maybe because they both was vicious killers.
Maybe.
Like, how ironic is that? You are part of the Bone Society, and you got all these powers, and you part of the Dark Shadow. Like, you got all these powers, like, and y'all just brothers.
And y'all just brothers. And fine,
Yeah,
because it sounded like his brother was fine too.
Oh, I know. Y'all watch my TikTok. I'm gonna show y'all who my cast is. Anyway, so the scene kind of cuts where one of the Romaldi sisters, the one that was illegitimate.
Mm-hmm. Always some in the royal family.
Yeah. She was illegitimate because she looked like the bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
But she was on him and she was trying to tell Rock to come to dinner. And because her sister, which I don't remember her name.
Giselle, the queen?
Do you remember? Yes.
Giselle.
Okay. Giselle wanted him to come to dinner or whatever. And then he was like, "Nah, I'm not hungry or whatever." And she was like, "Come on, come to dinner." And she started kissing on him. And like, he was like, "Well, I can't fight these urges. I'm still a man,
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, you want the rest of it? Come to dinner.
Be there at 8,
but yes, but what y'all don't know is Rock did smash the sisters. The one, the illegitimate yeah, all of them. Rock be just smashing people, yo. He just like he is like Vane, but finer to me.
The only one he ain't smashed was Holt, which was the brother.
And he was thinking about doing it too.
Right. He was having it with everybody. I was like, okay, Rock, get it in.
He was like, I really want to fuck him just to put him in his place.
Right. He needed to know.
So he agreed to come to dinner. He ended up going and he sat in Hoyt's chair, which Hoyt was the brother, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And Hoyt came in there looking at him like, why you in my seat?
Felt a whole way.
And the Rock just like looking at him, smirking at him and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so they kind of just sat there, had their dinner, and the family just wanted to know that he was not gonna like take his brother's side. Because they was curious of how you gonna feel when you see your brother. We don't want you to like go against us. And he was like, I haven't seen my brother in years. He picked his side. He do what he do. I do what I do. Mm-hmm. But inside he was like, I would never pick y'all over my brother. I don't care what he done.
Mm-hmm, that's facts.
Even though he was still pissed off at him for picking Peter Pan over him. But he was like, nah, that's my blood. So I'm gonna sit with my brother.
Yeah, they ain't know that.
Right. And so Hoyt was like, okay, well, I got this magic shell and I'm gonna get the dark shadow with this. And then Rock was like, yeah, I kind of want him to go ahead and get that dark shadow so I can just get it from him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh God, he will be a beast.
Girl, what? He already was a beast, like literally and
Right.
figuratively.
Literally.
Yeah, and did it have the dark shadow too? Or yeah, he had a dark
Mm.
shadow. Yeah, yeah. That was about to be bad.
Right.
But who knows what's about to
Yeah,
happen
I
next.
don't think that Vane is a part of the Bond Society because he ain't counting down and doing all that like he is.
Oh yeah, because the crocodile, because the Bone Society takes care of the time, right? Like they build all the clocks and
Uh huh.
stuff. Yeah, I think
Uh
you're
huh.
right, because he doesn't do that, and Rock is like he has to go by time, and once his time runs out, if he don't get him something to eat, he gonna
Baby,
kill
he
everybody.
devouring everybody.
You know what? I felt
He's
that.
literally the devourer of men.
Yeah, I felt that on a spiritual level. You know what I mean? Like if I don't
We
get me
mean.
some food in a matter of time, I have an attitude. I be
You
having a
get
whole
hungry.
attitude. I do. I be hangry. I am such a rude person when
I'm
I
about
ain't
to eat
ate.
everybody.
Girl, what? I be cutting people up left and right. I'm sorry. I'm just hungry. Like,
Right. So Rock is a part of this Bond Society we keep saying. So what it is, y'all, is that he has a clock on him at all times. And if that by the time the clock says a certain time, if he have not had blood by then, he kills everybody and turn into like the crocodile, literally.
mm-hmm.
So, so they just, discussing what they're gonna do, where they're gonna be at, what's gonna happen. And Rob was like, I gotta get out of here because I gotta eat. And y'all keep
Mm-hmm.
talking to me and I ain't got time for this. So he was like leaving or whatever. So he left, pulled somebody aside, a handmaid or somebody, and just told her up right then and there. She was
Mm-hmm.
gone.
She was
She
gone.
knew what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew the rumors.
Mm-hmm. You know what's crazy
So,
though? I was thinking about this. Like you killing off people, and on this island,
yep.
like you're probably killing them faster than they can replenish. So what gonna happen when everybody's dead off the island? Cause they're not having babies fast enough.
Mm.
Probably not supposed to think that deep about it. Sorry.
Well, there was different kingdoms, so we don't know what they was doing on the other one.
Yeah, but on the island that he was on, like I get it, he could travel and stuff like that, but where he was at, he had to get somewhere fairly close to get, to make
Yeah,
sure he made it on time, unless he was already
but
out hunting.
they might be procreating and just not the Lost Boys and stuff, not
That's true. That's true. That's true.
because remember, it was a whole town
Yeah, that's true.
of people.
That's true.
Yeah, so.
That's fair. That's fair.
But anyway, so after that, it kind of cuts off. Like, okay, now we know that they are on their way to see Tilly.
Mm-hmm.
Then it cuts off at the part of the story where Pan has just got his shadow, and he with all his boys or whatever, and they ask him, "How you feel? How you feel?" He was like, "I don't know how I feel. Like I
We
got to get
up.
adjusted."
That's what he said. We up.
He was like, "I really don't know how I feel, but I feel whole again, pretty much."
Mm-hmm.
And so, they was going back to the house because I didn't want their darling, baby. That's all they was talking about was that darling, and they could not wait to get to the darling.
Mm-hmm.
And so they going home. As they going home, they see a wolf, and the wolf is just like staring at them. And Vane and Cass is like, "Yeah, he look familiar. Like he looked just like our old dog from back in the day."
Mm-hmm.
So, he just kept staring at Vane was like, "Go ahead, dog. Go ahead, get on out of here." And the dog would not move. And then Pat was like, "Boy, you better get up out of here. I would not tell you again." And then he turned around and he left, but he was going the same way as the treehouse.
Mm-hmm.
So when Pan noticed that he was going to the treehouse, he was like, "Oh no, he is not going that way towards my boo."
Mm-hmm.
He took off in the sky and just flew to the house. And once he got to the house, I don't know how, because in the story it read like he was going so fast that he couldn't even hear, like the sound was.
Yeah, the sound, it broke the sound barrier.
But how in the world the wolf still beat him?
The the wolf was running on the ground and broke the sound barrier apparently. 'Cause
The wolf was beat him, honey.
yeah, was at the house waiting on him. Like, what took you so long?
Right. Oh, you thought you was doing something?
Right. That little running you was doing, that little flying or whatever, it's cute.
Right. It's cute now, but
It's cute.
so Peg got to the house. He smelled the wolf, know that he had already got there, and he got in the house and he was like, "Woody!" Just like screaming, "Where you at? Where you at?" Because I could smell this dog. And so he flew up the stairs, opened the door, and the wolf was like curled up on her, like snuggled up on her, and she just in the bed sleep. Just knocked out sleep, just snuggling up next to this old wolf that she don't even know that's them.
Mm-hmm.
And so he looked over and he said he see Cherry, and like sense her fear.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Cherry, you okay?" She was like, She was stuck for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me wonder, why was you still in that room?
Girl, after all that she done seen, I'd have been like, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the other side of the island because I don't know what's about to go down.
Girl, after if I was Cherry, after that would have happened, baby, I would have packed my bags immediately.
Girl,
I wouldn't have asked no questions. Why you was still there, Cherry? I don't know.
would have bounced. They would have not seen nothing from me. Where'd she go?
Right. And you already know they in love with her too.
Girl.
And she the dark one. She got the dark one in her. She ain't dead.
Yeah.
Bye.
She was tripping for that one. I would have been out.
Girl, gone. So he see Cherry and he like, what's wrong, Cherry? You good? You good? And she kind of like just stuck. And he was like, what's going on with Winnie? And he just looking at this dog that's just sitting here. Then Bash walked in the door. Not Bash. Vane walked in the door. And he was like, why she ain't in the room? Why wasn't she in the tomb? Like he instantly was like, why she wasn't in the tomb, Cherry? Why she wasn't in the tomb? Or whatever. But when like right before Cherry was like kind of about to talk, that's when Peter Pan had told him, go ahead, go downstairs and have you a drink. Because he asking her what happened, but also seeing this wolf sitting right here. He's like, what is happening? And then Peter Pan was like, Vane, go have a drink. You need to chill because you still do not have a hold of your shadow. So you need to go and chill. He had to tell him a couple times, and then he finally left. And then that's when Winnie kind of was talking after they, was talking to her, and he was like, Winnie, what's up? What's up? What you good? And she was like, oh, I'm okay. And went back to sleep. He was like, yeah. He was like, you promise you good? She was like, yeah, I promise. So he was like, okay, whatever. So he made Bash and Cass stay with her. And I don't know what he went. I think he went to go meet the sun because he had his shadow. So he been in the dark for millions of years now, thousands of years, whatever. I don't know how long it's been, but he been in the shadow for that long. And they made Cherry go to her room, and she better not leave.
Right.
So at that point, they was like, "Girl, you better not leave. Stay in your room," and she did, which was still crazy because, girl, I would have been gone. I would have took the chance to go. Girl, I would have been gone so fast, but go ahead, girl.
So I was gonna ask you, what did you when you were hearing about the wolf? Did you see it as like a small wolf, or did you see it as like a big wolf?
Maybe like a medium-sized one, like almost dog-like, but not really big.
So when I first thought about it, I thought it was like a little small, like a little small wolf. But then I was like, well, that wouldn't make sense because the princes had that dog as kids. So I was like, the dog's got to be grown. So then I started seeing it as like a big wolf. So, and then they're talking about it being curled up and stuff like that, and I was like, that was probably a decent size. But anyway, she's sleeping
like the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought about. Because you remember how big them wolves were? Wolves were. I forgot what they were called though. They were called something.
That I don't know.
I don't remember. Girl, I'm probably gonna cut this part out, but I just gotta tell you this because we're talking about Game of Thrones. I just
Okay.
saw an Instagram post that the girl was playing the Game of Thrones theme song using vibrators.
Wow. Wow.
I don't even know, but it was actually really cool.
First of all, I feel like you should leave this in the podcast.
I'll leave it in. But it was really funny. I was like, this is different. This is different.
That's definitely a talent.
Yeah, that's a different use for a vibrator. She's like holding them up to the mic and like banging them on things. And I'm like, girl, that is not the best use for them. But all right, do your thing. Like,
girl, all I be thinking about is, girl, I hope them are chargeable. Like you can charge them in a while and not batteries, because we running out their batteries.
Girl, no, those are definitely the rechargeable ones. Definitely. But I was just like, how did you even discover that you could do that? Like, what were you doing that you were like, hey, this kind of
like you really was that bored?
Yeah, like this kind of, you know what? Game of Thrones theme.
Right.
I just didn't understand.
Right now, I want to do it.
Yeah, I want to do it, and it will be done. I don't know. It was weird. I saw that. I was like, huh. Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, so yeah. So Winnie's sleep. Pan is about to go enjoy the sun. Vane is getting his whole life together, and the twins are watching over Winnie. Cherry's in her room shaking her boots. So that next day, I don't remember if they ever ate, because I know they were talking about making pancakes and stuff, but then like a whole bunch of stuff happened. I don't remember if they actually ate or not.
I mean, I think they was trying to eat.
They was trying to, but like something was happening where they didn't get a chance to. Anyway, they went. I think it was.
They had sex.
Who did?
Winnie and Vane. Remember Winnie and Vane had sex that morning? I mean that morning when he wait. Did her and Peter Pan have sex first?
I thought so.
Oh, her and Peter Pan had sex first, but then at breakfast in the kitchen, her and Vane started messing around. But Vane didn't finish it. He made her run.
Oh, I thought that was late. Maybe that was around the same time. Oh, yeah, that was around the same time. So, guys, by this point, nobody knows that Homegirl's got the dark shadow. Nobody, except Cherry.
Right.
You're right, because this is... Okay, yep. So, they start messing around in the kitchen, and then Pan's like, hey, let's both do it. And so this is before that. So, Vane tells her to run. So, she takes off running. One of the things that she noticed, though, because he was asking her how she was doing. This is before, and he thought he grabbed her by the throat, and he thought she was gonna be scared, and she wasn't. And he was like, that's really weird. Why is she not terrified? Like, he could tell that she wasn't. So there was stuff that was kind of happening to indicate something had changed, but nobody was connecting dots.
Right.
So she takes off running. They made a game of it. So he was like, whoever catches her first can choose what hole they want.
Right. He just told her to run, and then the twins. They not. I don't know if they twins. The twins, Bash and Cass was like, "You wrong for that? Why you get her to run? We was enjoying the scene." Right. And then he was like, "Oh, we all can play."
Mm-hmm. So then there was a big old manhunt for some coochie. So
yep.
The twins caught her first. So they had their way with her. It was bomb. And then Vane and Pan found her second. And they put her to work. Yeah. They was getting in that thing. And stuff was starting to happen. Like, her voice was getting a little bit deeper. Like, she was kind of... Stuff was happening. But they were enjoying their time. By the time they get done, Homegirl has been spent. She done had all four of them in with a span of probably like an hour or so. And she was spent. Well, she ended up passing out. So now they're like, low key, like, dang, we did real good, man. You know, she knocked out, like, not realizing, like,
cause Vane was like, we went too hard on. Like Vane was very protective.
He
of
was
her.
super protective over her, but he loved the mess out that girl and just didn't want to admit it.
He did, and then at that moment, that's when Peter Pan was like, "Damn, you kill that bitch."
Right, like, what's this? He had a nickname for the girl and everything. He was like, you went from calling her the darling to win. All this stuff. You got a little cute nicknames.
Oh, I love them.
It's cute.
I love them together.
So they were panicking about her not doing well, and so they called Shmi, which is Hook's right-hand woman. And so in order for Shmi, because even though Shmi, I think, is human as well, she knows a lot about magic and all this other stuff. So homegirl come out, and she, like, I guess they had made a deal that if she came out, they have to trade. Her coming out was payment would be Cherry to go home. So they was like, bet. So she came out. She just said she's just exhausted. She need to eat, you know, but she's gonna be okay. So then Winnie wakes up and she's like, hey girl, you good? And she's trying to figure out who she is. And she's like, they don't even know, kind of talking to each other. She's like, they don't even know how powerful you are, or something like that. Whole time Winnie's like, I don't even know what you're talking about, girl, but all right, thank you for the help, you know, appreciate it. So homegirl's like, yeah, so give us Cherry. And he's like, we're gonna have a party for her, a going away party. And Cherry's like, yep, that's right, because she ends up popping up at some point. And so she's like, all right, bye, but if she don't come by tomorrow, I'm gonna come and kill y'all. So she leaves, and they are getting ready to have this party or whatever. You know, later on, once everybody's like feeling a little bit better, but still they don't know that homegirl has the dark shadow.
Yeah,
it's not until so they I think they start having the party, because I think this is the next day. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, I am missing something. Okay, so while this scene or this stuff is going on, Crocodile has met up with Tilly. Tilly is like, hey, just want to give you some tea real quick. This is what's going on. I'm siding with Hook. We're going to try to do this to get rid of Pan, this and this and this. And oh, by the way, homegirl not gone. Homegirl did not die. Yep. Homegirl has been in Everland. He left her there. And he's like, you gonna have to show me some proof, girl, because I'm not just gonna take your word for it. Because he knows that Tilly can get in the memories. Because she told him, you know, I've been in the darlings' heads. I know all this information. He's like, no, girl, you don't have to show me. So
yeah, she was like, I can't. He was like, girl, I know you can, because I know what you do.
Right, you're gonna have to figure it out or else. So she was like, so she shows him the memory and sees that Peter Pan left her in Everland. And he's like, why would he just leave her there? So he knows what's going on with that. All right. So
and that's another thing that's left unknown that I hope that is covered in this other story.
Yeah, because I'm like, why? Where? How?
Yeah, because something was happening like at the moment because Wendy told Peter Pan, go get Rock. Go get Rock. Tell Rock to come for me. And like when Rock woke up from that dream or whatever Tilly was doing, when she was showing him the memory, he was crying when he came back, and because he was like her in the memory.
Yeah, and so the thing about Rock was he really messed with Wendy too, hard. He really cared about that girl, and as did Hook. And so he was just like, how could he do that? Blah, 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 blah. And so Tilly's like, you're the only one that knows this outside of me. Like, Hook don't even know right now. But you know what? Smee knew. Smee knew all of this information. And she kept that shit locked down.
She sure did.
She was like, this is not my business.
She sure did. Kept it right out to herself. And did more.
And some more, yep. Because she knew about the other stuff.
Right.
So, okay, so now you have Rock that's talked to Tilly. He goes back and meets up with the Ramaldis. The Ramaldis are like they're traveling around or whatever. They're about to go to a town. So the town that they go to is Darlington Port Town, something like that. Yeah. Okay, and then we're just gonna stop right there. So then the day of the party, know why they weren't all. So Cherry's downstairs. I think it's Bash that comes out and he's like, she's drinking because homegirl is stressed. She's like, they're gonna find out, they're going to kill me, it's gonna be a whole problem. So Bash comes out and is like, hey girl, you good? So this is the thing about Bash and Cass, because when she was talking about them, they actually cared about her in a way, like they actually were like really nice to her. So
Right.
the annoyance, I think, was more so from Vane and more so on Vane's part, and not necessarily on the twins. And I'm not really sure on Pan either.
Man, but I really feel like they didn't mess with her either, though. Like they messed with her, like everybody, not Pam, but everybody was fucking the girl too.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't really care. They didn't really care about her like that, But they also didn't want her to feel like sad and depressed, because it was kind of sad how she even got there, you know. So they tried to help her out, you know.
That's true. Should we
But I don't really think they really cared that much about her like that.
I
They
don't
just
think
didn't
they.
like to see her.
Yeah, I guess that's probably the better way to say it. But should we
Yeah.
get into the backstory about why she was even there in the first place?
Sure.
All right, so Cherry was there with Pan and the Lost Boys because at some point Shmi ended up being stuck out there, and Hook needed to have Shmi back because Shmi was more important to him than, unfortunately, his own sister.
Yep.
So in order for him to get his right-hand woman back, he had to trade his sister for her. And he told his sister, his own flesh and blood, said that, and he always like tried to protect her and all that because they had a real abusive dad and all this other craziness, and so they've been together for a while. So he traded his sister for Shmi and said it would only be like a couple of weeks, and it ended up being like years and years and years and years. So that ended up being the trade-off. So she had a tough time kind of from that point. She was loyal to the Lost Boys and all of them, but they really just kind of was like, you here because of a deal, girl.
Yeah, because she was in love with Vane so bad.
So bad. I felt bad in a little bit of a sense, but it was a one.
Yeah, I know, because everybody had it. It always felt, you know, you could feel that pain for her a little bit. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I don't know, to me, I thought about back in the day where you just loved this one boy in school. He was everything, but he didn't want you.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that.
I did too. I felt that. I felt it. I was like, damn,
So,
girl, I get it.
yeah, and see, but Cherry had went overly above. This man literally was like when Whitney was having sex with Vane would turn, but he would not like hurt her.
Yeah.
He literally, when he had sex with Cherry, he was hurting her, like choking her out, you know, doing all kind of things to her that the Dark Shadow wanted him to do.
Right.
For some reason, Dark Shadow did not do that with Winnie, but I think it was because he was controlling himself more with Winnie.
He was. He definitely was.
Mm-hmm. So it was something. I think that's why he kind of was falling for Winnie's, because some reason it made him control his shadow where he couldn't really do that with nobody else. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the backstory.
That's the backstory as to why that Cherry was even there to begin with. So Cherry's downstairs drinking. Bash comes out to see if she's good, and he can tell like something's bothering her. He can feel it on her, and she's like, "No, I'm fine." And he's like, "Nah, girl, like what's going on?" But she already knows that if she says anything, it's gonna be a problem, especially with Vane. So as she's talking to Bash, Vane he's like, "Oh yeah, Vane's looking for you," and Vane pops up, and so he snatches her up and is like, "Hey girl, what happened?" Because none of the stories making sense. Like something is clearly wrong with her. And so she's like, nothing. He's like, don't you lie to me. And she's like, nothing. And as soon as she starts talking, because he snatches her up at some point, as soon as he starts talking, he gets tackled by his brother. And they start play fighting, because like apparently that's what brothers do. And so
was they play fighting?
Yeah, because it wasn't serious. They was just trying to check his reflexes, so they was just kind of messing with each other, and that was kind of it. But it was like aggressive because they were strong.
But Vane was like, "What the f are you doing here?" Like he wasn't in a playful way. It seemed like.
No,
and he was like,
I meant like just kind of when he tackled him, that part, and then after that he was also like, "No, but seriously, why are you here?"
Yeah. And he was like, "How you let me catch you off guard?" He was like, "I was doing something."
Right. I had bigger fish to fry. Then his brother started kind of low key flirting with Cherry a little bit, very little bit. And he's like,
Right.
not this one.
Yeah, he was like, I could bang her out real quick. Like she
hmm
ain't that. And then Vane was like, nah, not this one. But which was like when I heard that part, I was like, the Vane like Cherry a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like he cared about her a little bit, but nowhere near anything significant. You know what I mean? Not enough, not to
Hmm.
match her energy for him.
I feel like Vane was like, girl, you know what it is.
Right.
Like you got some good pussy and I like it, but you know what this is. Like it's nothing to me.
Right, right, right.
And she's like, but I love you
But
and
I
I want to
love
give you my
you.
everything.
Right. I want to give you the world. Please. Love me. Um,
Right.
so yeah. So they have that whole conversation and they're pretty much talking about how like, are you gonna choose sides, blah 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 blah. And that kind of ends with their scene.
Right. And so then it flashes to the scene where well Winnie was like waking up.
Mm-hmm.
Did we miss that?
Mm-mm.
So Winnie was like waking up or whatever, and she woke up and she was like, she was like, oh, what's going on? Like, what's
Mm-hmm.
happening? Like, he was like, oh yeah. He kind of explained to her. Did he tell her she had that dark shadow? Did
They didn't know
yeah,
yet.
he did.
They didn't know yet.
Oh, well, he didn't know why that dog was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the wolf.
I'm trying to.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
wolf
go
was
ahead.
up under her, so she was like freaked out because there was a whole wolf, and she was like, "Where the hell? What happened? I don't know what's going on." Because one of the things was she loses chunks of time because she didn't know what was going on. So she waking up to this big old wolf being in the bed with her, not even remembering that she was just cuddled with it.
Uh-huh.
So,
Well, I can't remember what happened after that. Like how he explained it. What was him?
I don't remember him. I just remember him saying the wolf was. I don't even remember what the explanation was, to be honest.
I think it was that she sensed that the wolf was on her side, like because she had the shadow, but she didn't know she had the shadow. But she was like sensing that the wolf was on her side, and he was kind of communicating with her too.
He was, yeah, he was pretty much telling her he was there for protection, and you're right. I think she just sensed that he wasn't of harm to her, so
Hmm.
she wasn't as freaked out.
Right. Oh, that's when the twins was there with her. The twins was
Mm-hmm.
there. Pam wasn't even there yet. So then she turned over and she was like, "Where's Pam?" And they was like, "Well, I guess he, went to meet the son because I don't know if that's what they said, meet the son. I be thinking about True Blood. Y'all know that. Leave me alone." I think that's what they said though, that he went to meet the son because he ain't had his shadow in forever. So
hmm
she was like, "Well, let me go see." So she walked down and she walked on the beach and he was out there feeling that sun. I can't imagine how that feel after like years of like being in the dark.
I know. Probably
Like no wonder he
amazing.
was grumpy all the time.
I know he needed some vitamin D. That was literally it. Homeboy was deficient. He was deficient as hell.
Right, right. And
Oh.
so, and so then, she just sat down and she was talking to him. He was just sitting where he by the lagoon or was he
hmm
by a beach?
I think he was by the beach because he ain't mess with the lagoon like that. He had respect for it, but he never got in or nothing like that. You can follow us on all of our social media, What You Read in Pod or Podcast. On most of our social media, you can email us at whatyoureadinpodcast@gmail.com. We do have our link tree that has a request form in there, a recommendation form. If you want us to read something and review it, you could definitely go in there and send us a little request. You can also still DM us or email us as well, but it's just a little bit easier on the form. But yeah, tune in next week to hear the rest of Their Vicious Darling. That's it. Thanks.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.